When I woke up on September 9th, 2020, the sun forgot to wake up. Smoke from wildfires had combined with San Francisco fog to create this scene: darkened skies and an orange, Mars-like atmosphere. White ash blanketed my car like snow. I'm a marine mammal veterinarian, and so in the months that followed, I treated animals for respiratory issues like chronic cough and pneumonia. Other veterinarians treated wildlife for severe burns. Local physicians prescribed more inhalers and saw more cases of skin issues like eczema and psoriasis. Health effects like these that affect both animals and humans are projected to increase as climate change worsens. But I wasn't thinking about health on Orange Skies Day. I was thinking that I was completely powerless to stop the sun from disappearing. And it set in motion a period of time when I lost hope and felt alone. Millions of people experienced that same jarring day. While chatter and dark orange photos filled our news feeds, I suspect that few people talked about the big, scary feelings underlying that terrible day, feelings linked with grief and mortality. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was a psychiatrist most well known for her work on the stages of grief. When she began her research in the 1950s, she noticed that nobody talked with terminal patients. Doctors didn't tell patients that they were dying. Families didn't talk with their dying loved ones. Thanks to pioneers like Kubler-Ross, we began to listen to patients and how they feel. I believe we may be at a similar point now with climate change. How do we talk about dying ecosystems? Recently, I was at a birthday party for one of my young son's friends. And while the kids ate cake and played ball, one of the fathers, Jaime, asked me, "So what do you think about climate change?" I was a little caught off guard. We were at a child's birthday party, after all. But I quickly rattled off a few individual actions that many of us are familiar with. I can bike more and drive or fly less. I can eat less meat and recycle more. I didn't tell Jaime that I was feeling hopeless. I didn't share that I feared my work with health and conservation was making no difference at all. I didn't describe the feeling in the pit of my stomach. Was it guilt that I wasn't doing enough? Was it grief at what I was witnessing? Was it the discomfort of seeing everything change around me while everybody around me was silent? Jaime sparked a question. What do I have to say about climate change? I decided to reach out to some health professionals to see what they thought about it. Climate change may be the most significant health threat of the 21st century, so what advice did they have? I've had conversations with 98 health professionals in 11 countries. We sit, we have coffee, or we talk on the phone, and I don't give them any context at all. I just ask them, what do you need to tell me about climate change? Most people take a long pause with this question. One of my closest colleagues said, that felt like an assault. It's jarring to be asked a direct question about it, even if it's a topic that we're all noticing. I noticed 4 themes emerging. The first is that it is happening. Most people told me climate change is happening. And almost half of people said that to me in their first sentence. I find it compelling that many people are driven to make that statement known. Now, many of my colleagues are veterinarians that are working on the front lines with animals and ecosystems that are changing. And so the effect on wildlife health is naturally top of mind. One Mexican veterinarian told me about whales along her coastline. Every year, Pacific gray whales make an epic migration from the Arctic waters of the Bering Sea, thousands of kilometers south to warm Mexican lagoons. She told me, there have been a lot of changes to migrations. They're coming when they used to not come. There are fewer births. There are more strandings. We don't have to go as far as Mexico to see the changes. We can see them right here in Valencia. Colleagues told me about loggerhead turtles coming up onto new beaches in their regions of Spain and Italy. These sea turtles are solitary animals. They come up onto beaches at night to lay their eggs. And amazingly, they often return to the same beach where they themselves hatched. As temperatures warm, these sea turtles are looking for new beaches to nest, and they're finding it increasingly difficult to find ideal beaches free of lights, construction, and people. A local veterinarian told me, now you can see climate change. You can feel it. With our work, when we see turtles come to places where they never have before, you can see it. The second theme is that most people didn't talk about their feelings unless I directly asked them about it. When I did, though, many people shared strong feelings. I feel worried, concerned, anxious, frustrated, sad, alarmed. I feel pessimistic, lazy, ashamed. It's complicated. I don't know how I feel. It's just easier to ignore how it feels. People shared some darker thoughts as well. I don't know if we'll get out of here. I don't have any advice. I hope that my son has a future. It's going too fast. Whew, that's a lot. Here, look at this baby seal. And take a deep breath. The third theme surprised me. Many people talked about themselves as an average human. People that I would consider leaders in our field said things like, I consider myself a normal, average person. Or, how am I different from an ordinary human? Or, I don't consider myself an expert. You might feel like an average human too, wondering what you can do about climate change. I had conversations with all of these health professionals, and guess what? They feel like average people too. We all share a lot of the same feelings, hopes, and desires, no matter where we live. For example, I recently joined a group of school children as they got to see a sea turtle return back into the wild. Nicknamed Charlie by the kids, he was found floating, entangled in plastic trash. Part of his flipper had to be amputated, but after several months in rehabilitation, he was ready to return to the sea. Now, I've been lucky to see a lot of animals return to the wild after being rehabilitated in a lot of different places. And while the details, species, and circumstances change, the way that kids respond to the question and answer part of a release is pretty universal. Imagine all of these kids are waiting patiently. Educator Mario has just taught them all about wildlife and what they can do to help. And he asks if they have any questions. Dozens of hands go up. And no questions are ever asked. Facts are shared, and ridiculous statements are told. Here in Valencia, one little boy shouts, "My dad kept a shark in our bathtub!" Along another coastline, a little girl tells me that sea turtle poop looks just like human poop. And she is exactly right. I've been snorkeling before, and I've thought that poop floating by was from a fellow traveler, but it was from a sea turtle. Kids want to share the stories and facts that they know, and they're looking for guidance on how they can help animals. These kids are average humans. They're looking to Mario. Mario feels like he's an average human, excited about making a difference, and looking to his company on how he can make real change. You might feel like an average human, and you may not know who looks up to you. We need people like Mario to lead these passionate changemakers. Being an average human tied into the fourth theme that came up in my conversations. It's a paradox that many people find frustrating. How do I live, exist, and lead with my own individual actions when the problem of climate change is so large that what is needed is collective action? My colleagues thought about this in different ways. From, I'm just doing a little bit, and if everybody else does a little bit, then it turns into a lot. To, I can't change the big picture. I'm just here for one lifetime, and I'm here to do this. To, I'm not doing enough, and we're not doing enough. Interestingly, when people talked about what we need, they didn't suggest more individual actions that you or I could do. Many people talked about the need for people in positions of power needing to take action. We need global agreements. We need governments and companies to make changes. We need direction from leaders. This is why it was important to me that I gathered all of these individual humans to get thoughts together. Each word that I'm speaking to you today was one of the words that was spoken in our conversations. My goal was to create something larger than any one of us could say. These conversations changed my worldview. Like Elizabeth Kubler-Ross talking with her dying patients, the conversations didn't change the big, scary, existential reality underlying climate change. We don't know if we can do enough to make a difference. Our control is limited. The conversations didn't move the needle on climate action. Yet they did help me get back to hope. Connecting with so many health professionals helped me cope, to continue the small work in the face of dark orange skies. Doctors and nurses are ordinary people. Veterinarians and conservationists are ordinary people. We do not have all of the answers, solutions, and treatments for climate change or the health effects that come along with it. Yet I think I speak for all of my colleagues when I say that when we need collective action, sometimes that starts with a conversation. Thank you.